Today's video is going to be about Tree of Heroes. This is the new raid in North America. EU, Asia, you do not have this yet. But once you do, this is the guide for it. If you like all my videos and content, hit the sub button, hit the like button, hit that bell ding ding thing so you know when I post a video. Let's go, baby. Tip of the day, don't want to exploit things in the game. The more you know. Alright, I'm not going to go too in depth like with the strategy tips or what actually each element does. I'm just going to tell you exactly how to beat it, step by step. I will play you a pre-recorded video so I can break down the fight easily for you. In the beginning of the raid, the boss starts out as a neutral element. Once you engage the boss, it will change into a random element of the three: water, fire, or wind. As an Orbia, for me, when I find out what element the boss is, I change my weapon. In this instance, I would change to wind, and if I had a wind nuker like Argon, then I would switch to that. But ultimately, you want a wind nuker, and you want it to be a ranged damage dealer. It just makes the raid much easier for you. And melee damage dealers tend to die easily, and you do not want your monsters to die or it increases the boss's ultimate gauge. But let's talk about the elemental bosses. First is water. You have three things to worry about with water. Number one is this ring spell. On the ground, he will show you a pattern of what his attacks are going to be. It'll do 3 circles. It can be in the center, in the middle, and then the outer ring. You have to watch the pattern and not stand in those areas during the blasts. As you see, it's middle, inside, middle, so you don't want to be in that area when it blows up. The second thing to worry about is the recharge shield. You have to attack this recharge shield, which is blue, as fast as possible with multi-hits to break or it will do AoE damage. The next phase is when he can attack the next origin that is a weaker element. For water, what water does is puts a purple debuff on one of the summoners or even 2 of the summoners. You will also see it as a blue aura on the ground around you. If you get this debuff, you have to go stand on the origin of fire. But once the debuff goes away, then you can move out of that area because it'll drop on the area where the debuff falls off. Don't worry about damage too much because you can't go past the 80% health margin if the origin is not destroyed. You will start doing damages of 1. So it's rinse and repeat at this point until the origin is dead. Once the origin is dead and he is below 80%, he will then change to a different element. Now what I do at this point is I usually change my damage dealer to a stronger element. But if you wailing out, you don't need to do this. You just bring 2 damage dealers, Argon, Renhan, whatever. Now let's talk about the wind element. Wind is the hardest of the 3 because it's annoying. And if you don't do it right, you can wipe your team. The first thing to worry about wind is that he summons tornadoes. These tornadoes will slow your movement speed down if you don't have immunity, and then it's hard to get out of it. The second thing to worry about is going into the phase where we need to destroy his origin of water. The wind element boss will put an ability on every summoner that drops these green little auras and they do explode. They slow your movement speed again. So one person needs to take care of the origin of water, dropping those wind AoE bombs on the origin where the other players are just getting out of the way and not destroying each other. The third ability to worry about is that he drops a bunch of AoE slow damaging explosions. Definitely get out of those. But other than that, it's mainly the tornadoes and the phase to destroy the origin. Those are the most annoying things, but after time and practice, you'll be able to do just fine. Now you can really play the origin of water well because you can actually run around the origin of water. You can get through the wind element really quickly if you know how to place those bombs on the origin of water. But again, when the boss is under 60%, when the origin is destroyed, he will change to a different element, which the last element is fire. Again, there's 3 abilities for fire as well to worry about. But before worrying about the abilities, what I do personally is I change my damage dealer to the stronger element. Now the first ability to worry about is that FARAKEL. He will shoot a line of flames, and when he does this, he usually does this 2 to 3 times. Once you know he's done and he starts walking towards a summoner, then you guys can damage him. The second thing to worry about is that he does an AoE cone. It's a big area of effect, but it's only in front of him. So the best thing to do with fire is to stand close to him so that you can actually just dash and run through to the other side. Again, don't stand in his flames and don't stand in the fire afterwards or you're getting a dot on you. Now the last thing to worry about is killing that origin. Fire is the easiest to do this because you only need 2 blasts from this phase. FARAKEL will target one summoner and you will see that summoner has a giant red target on them. It will be another path shock wave of fire. And once you get this target, you, the summoner, needs to stand between the boss and the origin. Doing so will damage the origin right here, and its health goes down. The next phase starts at 40%, and once you get to that point, there will be 3 portals that pop up. What I typically do is right at 39.99%, I start running towards a portal. The portal are 3 little circles on the ground like this. Each summoner takes a portal. Now with the portals, there's 3 different ones. There is one that is a water undine with water elements. Water undine can be a kind of annoying because she does resurrect herself with soul protection and reses her ads, but it's fine for an Orbia. The other 2 portals, one is a fire Tessarian and the other is a wind sylph. Wind sylph is pretty easy, he just strips buffs. But the Fire Ifrit Tessarian portal can really catch people off guard if they don't know what they're doing. There's been tons of people, especially in pugs, that die from the Fire Ifrit portal. And that is because of Oblivion. As you see, there is a time limit, so make sure to kill all 3 portals before the time limit expires. But as you see, FARAKEL's damage taken has been significantly increased. But anyway, now this last 40% is a damage race pretty much. In this phase, he is a neutral element, so it doesn't matter what damage dealers you bring. So bring your best. He will do abilities of all 3 elements, so you just need to be aware. And there is no text prompts in the middle of the screen to prompt you. The biggest things to look for is the red rings on the ground, which is the 3 rings. You know how to deal with that already. The next one is the big target on the summoner from the fire element. So once someone gets that, they need to make sure to get away from everyone else and don't get hit. It will one-shot you and you will die. And if your summoner doesn't die, then all your monsters are probably for sure, especially your damage dealers. He also does the recharge shield after a cleanse. If you don't, it's an AoE wipe pretty much. You also have the AoE fire frontal cone to worry about, so get out of that for sure. Or you'll take damage like this, but just be ready to switch to a Soul Link monster that can heal or cleanse or whatever. I am pretty decent with changing Soul Link monsters, so I would recommend you to do the same as well, just in case for emergency situations. Again, every 30 seconds after a certain time, FARAKEL's damage increases, so you gotta hurry up and kill it. He'll also do the AoE explosions. Don't stand at red stuff like every single raid in every MMO. When you can, stack on your teammates so all buffs can be shared. Rinse and repeat, blow up the shield. And after you do all that, then you will be able to defeat the new raid. This is by far the funnest raid, definitely the hardest out of them all. And that's how you beat it. This is the basics of the raid. This may seem like a lot, but it's literally 3 steps to each element. Then it's the portals phase, and then it's the last phase. With the same mechanics, just nothing in the game prompting you. And that's it for today's video. I hope this guide helps you beat the new raid Tree of Heroes. I really just want to put this out so that the noobs start dying in pug raids so we can start pugging these raids so I don't have to wait for people to log on or get on or whatever. If you like all my videos and content, sub, like, ding ding a bell. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!